nutrition, this, that, and certainly what's going on in our lives. They're so jam-packed and full as we all experience the ups and downs and twists and turns. And if we just, as Jose said, have that faith, that is going to carry me through tomorrow for sure, and I'll be thinking that through the swim, bike, and run. And in that process, of having faith, I think another trait as an athlete, as an individual, more importantly, as a child of God, is to be humble and have humility. And this will be my 4th race out here in Oceanside, and God has served me up some pretty good humble pie here in the 3 previous years. My first year racing here, I was relatively new on the professional scene. I was excited for, this is a big race to kick things off, and I was all pumped up and just kind of taking my time, going through things in transition. And lo and behold, I was being a little too slow with my time and not paying attention to the clock, and I kind of got rushed and had to get my wetsuit on quickly so I could get down to the swim start, and in the process, the zipper gets jammed in the back. So there's some volunteers that are there trying to help me out with it, getting it undone, and the horn goes off, and the pro men are gone, and I'm standing on the boat ramp watching them leave with my wetsuit undone in the back. And it just got to a point where nothing could be done about it, so I just got in the water and swam the 1.2 miles in the nice, warm Pacific waters here with a wetsuit open in the back. And I'm even though my swim's gotten better over the last few years, I'm somewhat aquatically challenged. And so during this swim, as the water flew in and filled up my wetsuit, I just was shaking my head going, God, why did you bring me out to this race? Is this really how you want me to start my day? But that was okay. I just persevere like we always do in life when we're given these opportunities for growth, and just went forward with the day. The following year I raced out here. Again, I had done the preparation, the training, everything was good. I made sure I got to the swim start on time and even had a little bit of a few extra moments to warm up. And it was really cold. 2004. It was just a god-awful day. And I got on the bike and everything was going along, and then something just didn't feel right. Like, I just wasn't generating the power I thought I should be based upon my training. But I'm a knucklehead. I didn't bother to take my time to look down and see if there was anything going on mechanically, like a rear brake that could be rubbing on my race wheel. And so I just continue the bike, and the hills that are on this course on the backside and this beautiful Camp Pendleton Marine Base. And lo and behold, I get off the bike, and I can't run worth the dickens, and I have really my race was in the tank. From that moment, from the bike down through the run, it just got progressively worse. I got cold. I ran the race with arm warmers on, and I still couldn't get warm. And I get back into transition, checking things out, and my race wheel is just stuck. I mean, I go to spin it, and it's going nowhere. And so, again, it's just another opportunity where I think God was trying to humble me a little bit in what I was doing as an athlete, and perhaps even more importantly as an individual. Well, I kind of, at that year, I vowed to myself, no way am I ever coming back to Oceanside to race. I come back in 2006, and partly it was because I had some sponsorship obligations with Jelly Belly. They were doing a photo shoot the day after the race that they wanted me and one of my teammates involved in. And I had done the preparation, the training, and I was excited to come out here. But a few weeks before the race, I started having an issue going on, one of those issues we have sometimes as athletes. And I wasn't able to run real well. Really, I couldn't run at all. And so I come out here not knowing that, this could be a day where I have to pull the plug, or I don't know, maybe God will give me the strength to persevere, and maybe I can just walk through, walk-run kind of a thing, a shuffle through the half Ironman, half marathon portion. So I get through the swim, I get through the bike, and I'm hobbling through transition. I mean, I could barely walk, let alone run. And so, certainly enough, I had to drop out. It was my first and ever DNF, and I was very proud to never have to have dropped out of a race before. But it was just, there was no way I could go further because I just was in so much pain. And it turned out at the time, although I didn't know it, I had a stress fracture at the top of my femur when I got back to Boulder and got the MRI done and finally found out what was going on. And that in 2006 was just from that point, and then 10 weeks of rehab, having to adjust my race schedule and not be able to be out there running and doing my thing physically as an athlete, it was humbling. I mean, it was a real humble time in my life, but yet God has an amazing plan for us, and it gave me an opportunity to really grow in my faith through those various moments. Just as I've been faced with personal challenges, as we all have in our lives. I really try and look at those instances as, all right, it's time to slow down, or time to really take notice of what is God's plan for my life. And every day we have two ways to approach our day. We can wake up and say, "Good morning, God," or we could say, "Good God morning." And I'm the firm believer of waking up each and every day and just praising God and saying, "Good morning. Thank you for this day. I appreciate the gifts you are going to bless me with, and let's get out there and do it." And I encourage you, each of you, I hope that you have one of those days tomorrow if you're racing or if you're as a volunteer. I know we have some volunteers here. We appreciate what you're doing out there for us, and certainly those of you who are here to support one another. And on these awesome FCA bottles, it asks, "Why do you race?" And that's a question I'm asked as an athlete. Friends ask me, "Hey, Brad, why do you race?" And it's a question I think we should be asking ourselves in the greatest race of all, why do we race? For me personally, a lot of my races have a different meaning to me. Like in Kona, I always race for a charity, a nonprofit organization that's very close to my heart. And here, this year actually, in Oceanside, I had a childhood friend of mine who I hadn't seen in 15 years. And when I was here in 2006, he connected with me. He found me in a race result or something like that. He's not an athlete, but he was living here. He's a musician. And so he emailed me, and we were going to hook up. And I just, with the stress fracture and things that were going on, I didn't get that opportunity to see my buddy Mark. Well, he went on and died of cancer about 6 months later. I never had the opportunity to see this childhood friend of mine. And so tomorrow, I know one of the reasons I'm racing, since he is no longer with me in body, but I know he's up there in spirit, is I'm going to be racing in his honor, in Mark's honor. So again, I know each and every one of you will find some inspiration in your walk, in your race, and in the greatest race of all. And I just encourage you to persevere, have that faith, and remember to smile. It really is a great day to be alive. Thank you, and God bless.